Welcome to careforcustomers.com, the call center management series. Today's session, we're going to talk about 10 different ways that you can ensure your contact center outsourcing deal will be a win-win for both parties. So let's jump in. Number one. First of all, pick an outsourcer who has actual demonstrated experience supporting the product or service that you offer your customers today. So here's the analogy. You hire an employee into your organization. You probably expect them to come with certain skill sets in order to perform the job appropriately. An outsourcer is no different. You do not want to hire an outsourcer who has absolutely no experience in the business that you're in today. So make sure that they can demonstrate that they have experience supporting customers and products and services that are similar to yours. Number two, make sure your contract has a mutual termination for convenience clause. And why that's important is that if either one of the parties gets into this relationship and it's not working out for them from a money perspective or from a staffing perspective or from a results perspective, then it should be relatively easy that one party can write a letter to the other and say, listen, not working for me, I want to get out of the relationship. And why it's important to have mutual termination for convenience, if you both know that either one can write this letter at any time, then you're both going to work that much harder to ensure that the relationship stays on track and it's beneficial for both parties. The point here on the 30, 60, or 90 days, the more complex or the larger your outsourcing deal is, it will require you more days to transition it if you had to. So don't leave yourself too short and sign off on a 30-day when you've got 200 seats or more outsourced. You probably need a little bit longer than 4 weeks to transition that. So keep that in mind. Number three, have at least one dedicated company employee for every 100 seats that you outsource. So in an outsourcing world, you can't literally take all of your customer care organization and throw it over the fence and say, here you go, outsourcer, start doing a good job. They need as much help in understanding processes, different organizational needs, people and functions within your organization, and they have to get that from an employee. So by dedicating one or more employees to assist the outsourcer, and at least initially within the first 3 to 6 months, you are going to help them perform that much better. Number four, have one session where you get your team, the folks responsible for the customer care area, the part that's getting outsourced, and the outsourcer's team, the ones who are going to work it day in and day out, get everyone in one room and have multiple copies of the master service agreement and the statement of work on the table, and everyone has to read page by page by page and ask questions. You don't want to go into this relationship where people are saying, geez, I thought you meant this, or I didn't know those were your expectations. Those documents should be crystal clear. Anyone should be able to open them, read them, and completely understand what the intent of the work is. So again, do that before signing it, and make sure that all the questions and the corresponding answers, so if it's a question to the outsourcer, the answer comes from the outsourcer. If it's a question to the company, the answer comes from the company, is documented in one document, signed off, and available for all to read. It will help you beyond belief. Number five, create a joint task list and track all of the acts, the wants, the likes, the needs, the demands from either side. Inevitably, someone is going to say, geez, I'm looking at this report and it would be really nice if we could have this extra field or that extra field. Or you say, gee, you know what? We're thinking about opening up another half hour early. Geez, our demand first thing in the morning is hurting service levels. So outsourcer, we want you to start earlier in the morning. That kind of stuff. Prioritize all of that against contract items, customer impact, and costs in that order. And why contract is first over the customer is that if the contract doesn't work, your customers are going to be impacted anyways. So get the contract items first, get them sorted out as quickly as you can. then start addressing the customer impacts, and then thirdly, the cost items. Some of them may be interrelated. You're not going to be able to separate them, but go through contract, customer, and cost, and you should be able to work most of this stuff out. Number 6, every week, regardless of who can make it and who can't, have a standing meeting that talks about the following 4 points. Expected volume. You cannot surprise the outsourcer by having higher call volume than you might have documented. So if that is going to be the case, give them 4 weeks notice so they can respond accordingly. Key performance indicators. If something's not working well, service level, customer satisfaction, AHT, occupancy, cost per call, you name it, whatever is a key performance indicator for you, then that needs to be addressed, and conversation needs to be had around those particular measures. Have the company ask what it can do to help the outsourcer. Time and time again, there's this thing where you throw it over the fence and you kind of wipe your hands of the whole thing. That doesn't work anymore. Organizations and outsourcers have to be integrated in order to be successful. So by constantly asking, hey, outsourcer, what can I do to help you? You're going to allow them to open up, and they may have challenges that they won't share with you, but asking those questions will absolutely help. Also, the outsourcer needs to be asked, what challenges are you having with the program? They may not come to the table willingly and openly want to discuss a hiring problem or an attrition problem. But if you ask that question over and over and again, then you cannot sit there 3 weeks from that period of time and the outsourcer says to you, geez, I'm having a problem with this. Say, geez, I've asked you that question for the last 3 weeks. So again, it's getting what I call cards on the table and getting everyone comfortable about speaking the truth and being open and honest in the relationship. That's the only way that it's going to work. Number 7, here we go. Expect several major challenges within the first 3 months. You may not have any, and if you don't, congratulations. But if you expect to have major challenges, then you will actually be more attuned to things that are not going well or things that might be sliding. Also, it's very important that in a new relationship and a new outsourcing deal, not everyone had this feeling that all things are going to go well and there's going to be no issues whatsoever. If you communicate out that I am expecting to have problems, then if you do have something, you'll prove yourself right, and it's better than saying, everything's going to go well, we're not going to have any problems, and something crop up and you have to deal with it. So set expectations and expect major challenges. Number 8, ensure from day one your outsourcer is reporting on all key metrics. Do not let a day go by that they do not report. It's very important your key performance metrics are engaged to the success of the relationship and the success that your customers are having with their agents. So you want to know how things are performing. And I strongly suggest that you get trending reports as opposed to daily reports. Don't get a snapshot of the day. Make sure that the outsourcer is providing you trending reports so you can see where the highs and the lows are from a weekly basis and a monthly basis, and again, of course, from a daily basis. You want to see if they're trending up or trending down on a particular measure. It'll give you a little bit more insight, and you'll be able to work with the outsourcer to try and correct something if it's not going in the right direction. Number 9, schedule monthly and quarterly business reviews ahead of time. It's impossible to meet too many times within the first 3 months. Ideally, if the company personnel can actually be in the facility where the outsourcer is performing the work, that is probably ideal. Not all outsourcers like that, but the ones who really care about doing a good job will welcome company employees to help them along in the first 3 months. Monthly business reviews will allow you to address particular issues that are happening, and then the quarterly business reviews is an opportunity where senior management can come into those meetings and you can talk about the challenges that you've gone through on the month, how you fix them, and what the forecast is for the months ahead and the quarters ahead. And finally, number 10, send feedback or maybe ask for feedback from your customers and your employees on how they feel it is going. Customers, you can do that through a customer satisfaction survey or an email outreach program. And you want to determine whether or not there's a noticeable difference in your customers' feeling about the service that they're getting today with the outsourcer than they were getting when you had that service insourced. Also, it's very important to ask fellow company employees how they feel the deal is going. A lot of them will interact with the outsourcer in different ways. Could be accounts payable, it could be project management, it could be the training team. So you want to know outside of your group how everyone else is feeling about the relationship. And if you get negative feedback, don't dismiss it. You'll be close to it, so you'll probably take it personally. Don't dismiss the negative feedback. Ask for the supporting data from the person who is providing the feedback, and then investigate that jointly with the outsourcer. And lastly, pass along any compliments that you get as soon as you get them. Everyone has worked hard, and sharing the compliments is a great motivator for the outsourcer and for the employees on the front line as well. And I recommend that you share those compliments with your boss and your boss's boss to let them know that you've done a great job managing this program. So that is our session for today. Thanks for watching. The 10 ways to ensure that your contact center outsourcing deal will be a win-win. Hopefully this has helped.